The e-discussants will look forward to discovering the boundless opportunities presented by the ICT and the digital economy. Let's explore the disruptive potential of the ongoing tech revolution. We would like to thank ADN Telecom for sponsoring this panel. Now, I would like to request our panel moderators to join us on stage and introduce the esteemed panelists and invite them over to initiate dialogues. On this note, I would like to invite on stage the panel moderator, Mr. Raihan Samsi, the chairman and CEO of Devotech. Mr. Raihan Samsi is the chairman of Devotech Technology Park. He is the former country CEO of global IT service company Accenture and its managing director for Asian region. Mr. Raihan was the deputy CEO and CFO of Grameenphone till 2012. Having worked at multiple global companies for over 22 years, he chose to venture into ICT entrepreneurship, impact investments, and strategic advisory in pursuit of meaningful impact for Bangladesh. Raihan Shamsi is currently also a senior advisor of McKinsey & Co. Mr. Raihan is also a valued trustee of Valor of Bangladesh. Let us please welcome Mr. Raihan Shamsi on stage with a huge round of applause.
Thank you to audience for joining us today. We have a very enlightened and versatile panel in this session, the embracing the digital and technology revolution. Let me introduce you. We have in this panel a number of distinguished panelists, starting from policy managers who's managing the ICT division of the government. We have representation of the large technology companies of the world. We have representation of financial industry in Bangladesh and also tech entrepreneurs. So I would request, by the way, we have one of the guests, Mr. Shamsul Arifin, who is the Secretary of ICT Division of Government of Bangladesh, who was supposed to join us physically here, but given the roadblocks due to the opening of the by the Prime Minister of the overpass, he will be joining us over link. I also request Ms. Rubaba Dola, the Country Managing Director of Oracle, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Nepal. Rubaba, please. Rubaba is has been in the ICT industry for more than 25 years. And we have been colleagues in Grameenphone at least more than a decade there when we built the largest telecom company of the country. May I request Mr. Alauddin, Mr. Ala Ahmed, he's the Chief Executive Officer of MetLife Bangladesh, who is again a veteran in the financial industry, have led business and MetLife's business and strategy in the region, in Hong Kong, Malaysia, and in some other parts of the world. He also sits in the Executive Committee of American Chamber and also Foreign Chamber of Bangladesh. Thank you for joining us. May I request Mr. Momin Islam? You have already seen him twice in the stage. Mr. Momin Islam is, again, almost 2.5 decades long experience in the financial industry of Bangladesh and nurturing technology to reach out to the small and micro entrepreneurs of the country. Very interestingly, Mr. Momin is the chairman of the Association of Development Financial Institutions of Asia Pacific. So DFIs, we know, for our type of emerging countries plays a significant role. Mr. Momin also has been the immediate past chairman of Bangladesh Leasing and Financial Companies Association. So we have one of our very important member who is joining us online, Mr. Shamsul Arifin. the Secretary for Information and Communication Technology, Division of the Government of Bangladesh. Can someone confirm he has joined us yet already? Mr. Arifin was the Additional Secretary and Joint Secretary before, and he also served the Cabinet Division as the Secretary for Coordination and Reforms, a very important role he played before joining as Secretary of ICT. Can someone confirm if he has joined? Okay. Once he will join, we will see him on the screen, right? And we have amongst us Mr. Aninda Sengupta. Aninda, please. A technologist and strategist who was born in India and have loved Bangladesh and have been an entrepreneur lately. He is the director of AdCore, a part of ADN family. He also has 25 years plus experience in serving global and local companies in India and Bangladesh and elsewhere, serving more than 300 local and international clients in different aspects of digitization and their progression journey. So we have Mr. Arifin on the screen. So welcome, sir, into the session. As planned, we will come to you when we have the question for you. Just to give you a perspective of the discussion, particularly for the audience today, embracing digital or technology revolution. And the question is this a choice or this is something we have to face? In my reflection, technology or digital is everywhere that we have now. In our communication, in our transportation, in our entertainment, in our shopping, you name it, in our banking, in our transaction, in our settlement, everywhere we have already adopted, embraced technology. And for a country like ours, this digital way is perhaps a much simpler way for a nation like us to pursue. Think of the time, the Industrial Revolution, which needed a lot of lands, a lot of natural resources, a lot of capital, and so on. And since we have our journey as a nation has been only 51 years, compared to many other countries of the world, we have started later. And digital is a way that allows a vibrant economy like ours to leapfrog. We can leapfrog with the help of a digital technology. There is another dimension to this is why digital? I mean, other than adopting in our day-to-day lives, this has also tremendous economic value for a country like ours when it comes to employment for our youth, when it comes to diversifying our export, and also be relevant to the current world. Somebody said in the earlier session that we are part of a global economy. We cannot do things on our own. We have to be part of the wave the world is adopting. And digital is simple, digital is faster, digital is cheaper, it is simpler to replicate, it is easier to access 170 million people, or for that matter, billions of people, if you look at the examples of Facebook and others. So this is the way. In this session, I have discussed earlier with the panelists, and we have agreed a number of questions. And I will ask 5 questions, and I will come twice to the panelists today. Thank you for joining us again. So the first question to our panelists today is, we have seen a trend that we can use Bangla and English together. There were some international people, but they are no more here. Oh, we still have. So thank you for raising your hand. Thank you. And sorry about the last few sessions. I know that you may not have been able to follow us. So we'll stick to English as we have planned. So my first question to Mr. Mominul Islam, our bright banking friend. that, I mean, how do you picture the economic prospect of Bangladesh by becoming a digital and ICT-based economy? And if you help in particular, where should be our economic priorities?
Thank you, Ryan Bhai, and good afternoon to all our audiences and my co-panelists. First, I will start with giving a thanks and congratulations to Valor of Bangladesh. Each of the panel today and tomorrow, I have observed, has at least one participant from our female counterpart, including our very own Ruba Baba. So I think that's something really, really appreciable, and we hope this number will only increase in future. So after saying that, as we have already entered the era of fourth industrial revolution, as Rahan Bhai was saying, technology is now everywhere. The cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, machine learning, blockchain, nanotechnology, biotechnology, these are changing the way we do business, we do work. Not only that, who we are as a human being, that is also going to get changed. And in such backdrop, Bangladesh has very rightly adopted a smart Bangladesh strategy, not only in economic side, but in the other aspect of our country and social arena. So our economy is currently around 460 billion US dollar, but this is one of the economy which has really grown over the last 2 decades most consistently and one of the fastest growing amongst the major economy. But still, our economy is predominantly a traditional economy. Uh, the manufacturing is still in the very basic arenas, as well as the agriculture is on the basic arenas. From there, we are now seeing the emergence of tech-led and tech-based businesses coming up, if not in the manufacturing, but trade, service, and commerce arenas. So we have seen the emergence of freelancers, F-commerce, e-commerce. Although the total contribution in the economy is small at this moment, but the number of people engaged in this arena are quite significant and going to increase only. The next stage will be to build a digital ecosystem which will connect our producers, our suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, retailers, logistic partners, the financing partners, payment partners, and of course the tax collectors and ultimate consumers together, whereby we have a smarter supply chain ecosystem. If you see now in Bangladesh, the vegetable producers in the village, when they are say facing a price of say 20 taka for their output, in Dhaka we are purchasing that same vegetable at 100 taka. Sometimes they throw away their outputs as the price they fetch doesn't even really is not adequate for the logistic expense they may incur. So if we have a smarter value chain, digitally connected, we hope we can solve this kind of problem in the trade. Next will be on the export. We were hearing from Shamsbhai about the great things they are doing in the manufacturing, but still we are very efficient and very good supplier to big brands. From there, our next ambition should be how we can be the biggest brands, fashion brands globally. By harnessing the e-commerce, partnering with these global logistic companies, we can get into the household. From 50 billion we are exporting now, this can easily go to 200 billion in next 1 decade with the same production, but going directly to the household globally. Then we have few other areas like we can be the regional trade hub. Bangladesh geographically very suitably located to become a regional trade hub. And also, if you see one very big arena, say global gaming industry now is around 127 billion. It's growing at around 18% per annum on average. So by 2027, it is estimated it will be like 267 billion. And by 2035, it will cross $1 trillion industry globally. So if in case we can really develop a few handful of our tech expert in this arena, we have a big chance to dominate in the gaming industry. Coming to the production and manufacturing, so we'll see the greater uses of technology like IoT or biotechnology in our agriculture. So agricultural output will be higher, also more sustainable. Agro processing will be another arena that we think will be greatly say benefited by use of modern technologies. Then we have like the blue economy still largely not explored, although we know there is a huge opportunities, but still we could not really take advantage of that. We will see with the per capita income consistently increasing, there will be higher need of housing. So a smart house, from there, smart cities we are now talking. And also very uniquely, we may think of smart villages of tomorrow, which will make sure we have better, efficient information access to the villages and better energy utilization as well as a better living condition in our villages. This all will mean there will be also big opportunities in finance, collaborating with all these industries, and also with that, the biggest opportunities as well as necessity comes in the form of human capital. So if we want to really take advantage of this digital economy, we will need to really build a smart human capital with tech skills. This will ensure that we only do not support the local economy, but there will be around 300 million deficit in knowledge workers globally by 2030. Who are going to supply that? One big supplier we already know, our neighbor, India, but Bangladesh can be also again a big supplier to human capital globally. With the aging population, the need for this personal health care worker will increase manifold in coming decades. Bangladesh can look very closely into that arena. We'll very soon see the elimination of these drivers, cleaners, security guards with the emergence of self-driven car or this AI-led robot cleaning and security guards. So most of our people now going to Middle East are working in this arena. So 15 million people in working in different countries, officially or unofficially, sending around 20 to 25 billion dollar per annum. From there, with the same level of people, we can earn more than $100 billion in next 7 to 8 years. We can just make sure that we focus on the key arenas like the personal health care or a little bit of technology, say oriented people or the knowledge worker we send to this market. So the opportunity is really big, but of course we need to invest in human capital primarily to make sure that we can take best advantage of the opportunities that this technology offers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very well said. I mean, to pursue a destination, we need to know why we are pursuing it. What are the potential of that? So, Mr. Ahmed, touching on the same economic prosperity of a digital-oriented economy and why should be our priorities? We have already heard from Mr. Mumin already.
Thank you, Ryan bhai. And I think Mohin bhai covered a lot of aspects, especially how technology can really bring in a lot of changes for our economy as we see it today. So we are actually seeing a lot of changes happening already. So let me share one of my personal experience. Last year, I think in November, December, one of my friends sent some, pictures of paper money receipts received by him from MetLife. He has like 10, 12 policies, so he pays premium every month. And he receives like 10 individual envelopes with receipts and staples. So he take the pen to open all those up and he put on a table, took a picture and sent it to me. He said that, can you save me from this trouble? Because I am burdened with the paper. So I was very happy to share with him last month that we have got rid of all the paper receipts altogether. So it's a huge quantity of papers that we sent out to the customers every month. So we stopped it. And good thing is that it's being supported by the regulators. So they said that you don't issue any paper receipts, you only send the SMS with a link to the e-receipts. So this is very basic, right? Very fundamental automation that you're talking about that is still not there in most of the industries. So we are at the beginning of adopting those digitalization, making people used to those services so it can really flow to other sectors and other industries. Right now, if I compare today, like 40% of our services are digital, which was 0% even 3 years back. We now have 65% of the collections through digital channels. It was only 18-20% pre-COVID. But these are hygienes. So what we are looking at is that what actually people want, what customers expect from the businesses. If you think about the priorities like health, education, employment, these are the basic needs that people look up to. And I think with technology, we'll be able to serve people better. One example is that think about the digital health services that is expanding. And a lot of entrepreneurs, startups are actually coming into this scene. And what we felt that actually, if we can have a platform where we provide these services, be part of the ecosystem or take the responsibility of building that ecosystem for our people. So we have launched a new app called 360 Health app, where we think about what a person need on a 360 basis for a person's life, starting from health service delivery to financial services, and try to put everything there and make it bigger and larger and more resourceful every other day. So in my view, this is going to happen in all the industries, right? Be it education, I think a lot of digital education tools are coming up, platforms are coming up. In the health sector, that is also going to happen. Right now, I think it's time for us to look at how we can make use of the AI. And most of the companies, especially global companies, are taking that as their strategic initiative, like MetLife. We're thinking about how can we really use AI to drive the transformation to the next level. If I want to really understand about my consumer, my target customer segment, AI can be a really powerful tool for me to do the risk assessment, or when we onboard, how can we really give or deliver the solutions right when the customer needs it, be it go for even expanding the business through cross-selling, upselling. So all the opportunities are actually opening up. And few things that is necessary to drive it and have impact on a larger scale would be, first of all, is the ecosystem. And I think Bangladesh is in a very good spot through the expansion of mobile financial services. Now digital banks are coming up. With that, we really need to have a proper ecosystem which supports all the technological advancement. Have proper platform for the freelancers. I think the army of freelancers is growing. Last time I read was 600,000, and it's actually growing. And we have huge opportunity to shift our labor force from intensive labor to digital warriors, right? Digital army. So huge opportunity actually stays with us. Second thing, we really need to focus on how we can improve the human capital, provide necessary training, prepare our next generation for what is coming ahead of us, be it in general technology, deep technology, it can be in other personal development aspect. Actually, we have a lot to do in this area, and we need to really prepare our next generation so that they can actually be a contributing factor in these areas. Third is driving the adoption. So we work in many different countries in Asia, especially if I think about Japan, Korea, China, or Bangladesh, right? Customers' behaviors are completely different in all the different areas. You can see high level of adoption in China and Korea, but in Japan, you'll be surprised to know, probably a lot of us know, that the adoption of technology is very, very low compared to what we would expect from a country like Japan. We are seeing that in Bangladesh, it is happening. People are adopting, but not as at a faster rate. I really would give credit to the government for taking all the initiatives. Like I was listening to one of our statistics that around close to 4 crore people receive funds from the government through digital channels. 90% of them are through digital channels. With the advancement of more use of our national IDs card system, the eKYC, all this will actually pave the way. So these will all help us to drive the adoption. So 3 things I think we need to really be focused on and work harder to gain the potential of technology to drive our economic development. One is the infrastructure, focus on human capital, and third, drive the adoption.
Thank you. So when you talk about Bangladesh, the first thing come out, if you look at it from an international or technology revolution, we need to serve these 170 million people. Digital technology can help us significantly. As the panelists already mentioned, when it comes to their healthcare, when it comes to their financial inclusion, when it comes to, and et cetera, et cetera. And when we can take care of them with the help of better digital technology, we can convert them as a knowledge hub. Somebody mentioned, I think Momin Bhai mentioned, we can build a knowledge-based supply chain from Bangladesh to elsewhere. So that is where the economic connect is becoming so important. And a country like ours, we need to have exports to be able to feed our consumers. Okay, moving on to the preparation for this potential. So Rubaba, I come to you now. I mean, you have been part of the, I think from the early stage, part of the technological revolution of this country, telecom, and then now you are working for a global company, Oracle. So Oracle has presence in many parts of the country, and in particularly I would emphasize the emerging countries who are adopting technology well, and also your understanding of the ground reality in Bangladesh. So what would be the priorities of our technology readiness to take full advantage of a digital economy?
Thank you. Can you hear me properly? Okay, good. First of all, thank you for having me here, and it's a pleasure having you in the same panel as a moderator. And I was listening to the other panelists, and I believe a lot has been spoken with regard to digital Bangladesh, smart Bangladesh, digital economy, etc. I'll just go back a little from where we started, because that has relation to the future and where we are today. I remember in 1998 when most of the licenses were given away for telecommunication. It was seen as a luxury item. And we really thought through and thought, how can we make it a necessity? But those days, the device price was about 35 to 40,000 taka. Per minute call price was about 35 taka per minute. So imagine, how can villagers afford that? How can general mass afford that? And from that point of view, and we were heavily dependent on BTTB at that time, the fixed telephony. And as a result, we were restricted to only those who had fixed telephony and hence could speak to the place, but not the person. From there, how we actually expanded coverage by building a backbone, which was fiber optic. By use of technology, we built that backbone and extended the coverage from urban areas to rural areas, and that's how we connected rural and urban Bangladesh. And then we connected Bangladesh with the rest of the world, with broadband connectivity, submarine cable, etc. All this, when you look back, what has that done to us? Wherever we are today, it's because of those decisions and infrastructure that were built during that time. People, every person I know now has a mobile phone. We have more than 100% penetration of mobile communication because people have more than one device and one SIM card. We now know the farmers have direct access to market price and they can eradicate the middlemen. Women are getting empowered because they are being able to make use of the mobile phone, whether to seek fund or to run their businesses. Now, going forward, if you look at the backbone of digital economy itself, it is hyperconnectivity. We are on the cusp of an era where everything is interconnected, whether it is people, business, processes, or devices. Which means that if we really want to reap the maximum benefit of digital economy, then we have to have a robust digital infrastructure. We have to develop digital skills. And of course, we have to have proper governance, whether it's in the form of stable government policies and of course security aspects which needs to be taken into account. Now, my other speakers have already spoken about infrastructure and digital skill. Infrastructure, of course, we understand we have to have reliable, trustworthy, high-speed internet access in order for us to connect all these devices together. But on top of that, accessibility is also very important. You know, there was a report I read during COVID period. Everybody was making use of online virtual platform for education, for health, etc. Now, even if a particular family, say in the villages, had one device, which was a smart device and could connect to internet to maybe help their children to carry out their education online, the device was given to the male and not to the male, to the son, and not to the daughter. What does that mean? That the digital divide is happening, right, in the form of, gender divide. So this is something we really have to, take into account. How do we ensure that we provide access devices, affordable devices, to the general mass? 50% of the population women, and if they are not contributing to the economy, how are we going to think of a digital economy where you have the entire population contributing to this? And then comes, of course, the youth. 40% of the youth under the age of 24 is a young population. How are you going to ensure job for them if they're not digitally upskilled or reskilled, right? So in this era, what we see is that half of the job in the world is going to be displaced. And now we are talking about chat GPT, we're talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about IoT devices. We really need to know how we make use of these devices. And that means you have to be more creative, you have to be innovative, you should be able to do critical thinking, you should be able to feed the right kind of information to AI as well to make sure that it actually helps you in your productivity. So those are the things that we really have to focus on when it comes to digital skill set and digital literacy. Only access is not enough. Literacy is important because how you're making use of it. Are you going to just develop contents on TikTok? Is that what digital access is about? Or are you going to make use of that information and content that you have to gain more knowledge, to maybe build your expertise and maybe run your own business through e-commerce platform, etc. So that's a very important aspect that we have to look into. And when it comes to use of technology, as you were saying, prioritizing it, we have to come out of the legacy platforms that we're using. We find it very comfortable to be in our comfort zone and make use of all those on-prem legacy systems, and we are very restricted or rigid when it comes to transformation. We are talking about digital transformation. Your mindset has to transform, your strategy has to transform. You have to take a cloud first strategy perhaps now. So making use of cloud infrastructure, artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum computing. These are the things that we have to now start learning more about, create more awareness of, and hence utilize that. Otherwise, we are not talking about today, 2023. We're not talking about even 2025. We're talking about 2041 and ahead. So how are we going to compete in this global world where we are all connected? We're all global citizens. So digital literacy is indispensable for any global citizen, right? So that's one thing. Governance part is extremely important. I'll probably talk about it when we talk about cybersecurity. But the policies that are being laid out by our government now with Smart Bangladesh Vision, our Secretary of ICT is here with us. I'm sure he can highlight more on that aspect. That needs to facilitate businesses. That needs to help individuals and users to make use of these kind of digital technology and remain connected and have a positive impact. World Bank report states that 15.5% of global economy is actually contributed through digital economy. And it is growing at about 2.5 times faster than the global GDP of last 15 years. So you can imagine if we are left behind, if we can't really catch up with the trend, with the advancement that we see, then definitely, we'll be at a fix. So it's about time that we all talk about it and build that synergy. Private sector, government, academia, we all have to come together.
Thank you, Baba. Very well covered. And thank you.